Hey, seventh grade. So our learning target for today's work is I can solve multi-step equations using inverse operations. So the hand method's going to kick in today. And what you'll notice is that we're going to have adding and subtracting problems, but we're also going to have some combined like terms. So there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff going on today, which is why it's called multi-step equations. You have the skills to do everything we do today, but there's just going to be a lot of stuff going on inside of one problem. So the point really is this, that some equations take more than 2 steps to solve. So we've talked about the steps for solving. First, we draw a line through the equal sign. We've been doing that. Go ahead and fill that in. Draw a line through the equal sign. After we do that, of course, we will stop, chop, chop if necessary. If we see any subtraction, we should stop, chop, chop. And then we're going to combine like terms. So that no fruit salad idea. After we do that, we're going to solve using the inverse operations. And then we're going to check. Okay, so those are our 5 steps. So we really have that hand method kicking in. But before we can get to the hand method, we're going to have to combine like terms first. So we're going to have to go back to some old ideas. If you have a highlighter today, you might want to use one. You don't have to use one, but it might be helpful to organize some information. Okay, so we have this problem here. There's an equal sign. What we need to have happen is that the left side has to equal the right side. So the 4n plus 3n plus 6 has to equal 20. All of that has to equal 20. So we have to find the value of n. So to do that, we need the hand method. But before we can use the hand method, we have to combine the variables. So the variables are n. We're going to combine those. Now the plus 6 does not have an n on it, so we can't put that in. But we get 4n plus 3n. Combining like terms is what that's called. So how many n's do we have here? We have 7 n's. Now again, the plus 6 does not have an n on it, so we would say that that's an unlike term. So we're going to say if you haven't used it, you should drag it down. So we have this new equation of 7n plus 6 equals 20. Okay, guys, so now the hand method kicks in here. We're going to take our hand and cover the variable n. And you can notice that we have a 7 times n plus 6. But when we have more stuff going on, we're going to make that n a little bit, or that hand a little bit, whoops, sorry about that. We're going to make that hand a little bit bigger, and we're going to really cover all of that 7n. So this is all going to be covered kind of with the giant stop sign. Do not touch that. So our job first is to get rid of that plus 6 by subtract 6. Then we're going to say copy paste. Copy paste, draw a line. Every time we copy paste, we have to draw a line. If I haven't used it, drag it down. 6, take away 6 is 0, and we have 20 minus 6 is 14. All right, guys, so here we go. Is n alone yet? No. So we're going to take that hand and we're going to cover the variable n. So we're going to go over and take that hand, cover the variable n. It's 7 multiplied by n right now, so our job is to get rid of that 7. We're going to divide by 7, copy paste. We end up with 1n equals 2. At this point, we could divide by 1, copy paste, but that's kind of not necessary anymore to do that. But in my class, we're going to go ahead and box that in, which is n equals 2. So the value of n is 2. Now through substitution, we should be plugging that 2 back in. So it's 4 times 2 plus 3 times 2 plus 6. And the question is, does that equal 20? Now you can go ahead and type that in your calculator if that's hard for you to do in your head. So you can type all that in your calculator and just make sure that it's correct. That's called the check, or step 5. So we're doing a multi-step equation today. So we're still solving equation the hand method, but before we do that, we have to combine like terms. So that's the first example there. All right, so we're going to draw our vertical line over here. We're going to stop, chop, chop. And we're going to start to combine like terms. So if I look at the variable term of negative 5x, I look to see, is there any other x's on the left there? And I'm not seeing any other x's on the left. So is there anything else I can combine? Well, these are just, that was supposed to be in yellow, sorry. These are just numbers here. So I have $21 in the bank, and I'm taking 6 out. Can I take 6 out of a bank that has $21 in it? Yes, I can, which leaves me with 15. And then we have, if I haven't used it, I drag it down. So we have negative 15x plus 15. On the right-hand side, we have negative 10. Okay, so that hand method then kicks in right here. We're going to take our hand and cover the variable. I'm just trying to get this hand over here. Take our hand, cover the variable x. And we're going to go ahead and solve. So the opposite of adding 15 is to subtract 15. So we should subtract 15, copy, paste. And then we have, if I haven't used it, I drag it down. So we have negative 5x. We have 15, take away 15, which is 0. And on the right-hand side, we have negative 10, take away 15, which is negative 25. Go ahead and copy, catch up if that's too fast. All right, guys. So our job then is to get the variable 5 totally, or x totally alone. So I'm going to take my hand, cover the variable x. We have an operation right now of multiplication. To get rid of that, we have to get rid of all of it, the negative and the 5. Division, copy, paste. So we end up with 1x equals triangle problem over here, which is 5. So we end up with divide by 1, copy, paste, and we have x equals 5. Now you can go ahead and substitute back in to make sure that it's good, but answer is x equals 5. All right, guys, let's take a look at this problem down here. This is a multi-step equation. There's a whole bunch of things going on, but it ends up turning into just a hand method. You just have to do some stuff first. The first thing that I noticed that there's a lonely variable, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of that and put a 1 in front of it. That's a 1x. Combine anything that's in the like term. Same variable, same power. So we have the variable of x here, x to the first power, so all of that can be combined on the left. So I'm just going to start with that. I'm going to take some little baby steps and get me through this. That's negative 3 plus 1. So I have $1 in the bank, and I'm trying to take 3 out of the bank. I can't take 3 out of a bank that has 1 in it. I end up with negative 2. Variable is x. If I haven't used it, I drag it down. On the right-hand side, then, I can combine these like terms because they're just both numbers, just like you combined in elementary school, combining just 2 numbers together, no variables. I owe $27 and I have 8. Well, I don't have enough money. I'm short $19. That becomes negative 19 because I don't have enough money. I need 19 more. All right, now this is the point where the hand method kicks in. We cannot combine any more like terms. We're going to take my hand and cover the variable x. Anything by my hand has got to go. The thing that's furthest away has to leave first. So we're going to have to get rid of that plus 11 first. So we're going to subtract 11, copy, paste. And then we have, if I haven't used it, I drag it down. We have 11, take away 11, which is 0. And on the right-hand side, I have negative 19 minus 11 is negative 30. All right, guys, so here we go. Hand method. We take our hand, cover the variable x. This is a multiplication problem. To get rid of that negative 2, I divide. Negative goes 2, copy, paste. We end up with a 1x here equals, this is a triangle problem. In my triangle problem, I have a negative on the 2, a negative on the 30, ends up being a positive 15. So my answer is x equals positive 15. Now you should use substitution and plug back in to make sure that it's correct using your calculator, but answer is x equals 15. If I'm going too fast, go ahead and pause that video. Otherwise, we're going to continue to work. All right, we're working over here on this last problem. Multi-step equation because this requires lots of things. But I will remind you that this is for sure a hand method question because it's going to end up turning into an equation. Sorry about this. I'm trying to write with this pen here on the tablet and it gets a little messy. All right, so I said no, we have some subtraction there. We said no, we do not subtract in Ms. Volkman's class. So we're going to make that into an addition problem with a negative. We're going to go ahead and combine like terms now at this point. The variable is x. And we have a plus 2 in front of this x, and we have a 5 in front of that x. If we put all the x's together, we end up with 7 x's. We have 7x. And then if I haven't used it, I just simply drag it down. Plus 22 plus negative 4 equals negative 10. Now, I could have combined those numbers in blue as well in that first step, but I'm going to just do baby steps, 1 step at a time, so I don't make any mistakes. All right, now the 7x is the only x term, so that one's just kind of on its own. But these two numbers can be combined on the left-hand side. Now, I cannot combine it with the negative 10 on the right because it's not on the same side of the equal sign. It's like a giant wall separating them. They don't get to go together. So here's the deal. I have $22 and I have to take 4 out. Can I take 4 out if I have 22? Yeah, of course I can. What would that leave me? $18. We have this rule that says if I haven't used it, I drag it down. On the right-hand side, if I haven't used it, I drag it down. So I end up with 7x plus 18 equals negative 10. At this point, we've combined all like terms. The hand method kicks in. We take our hand and cover the variable x. The thing that's furthest away right now has to go first. We have 7 times x, and we have a plus 18. To get rid of the plus 18, I should subtract 18. Copy, paste. We have, if I haven't used it, I drag it down. So we have 18, take away 18, which is 0. And on the right-hand side, we have negative 10, subtract 18 is negative 28. So that's our first step there in cleaning it up. Hand method still in play here. We have 7. The operation here, of course, is multiplication. Just a quick reminder that we do have a multiplication sign here. Our job then is to get rid of the 7. How do we get rid of it? We divide by 7, copy, paste. So we have divide by 7, copy, paste. Again, if I'm going too fast, go ahead and pause that video. We end up with 1x equals. We have a triangle problem over here on the right, which is negative 4. X equals negative 4. Through substitution, then, we should go ahead and plug back into the equation. Make sure that we're good to go. Answer is x equals negative 4. All right, guys, so what we've done today is a multi-step equation. Here's kind of what you need to remember. You stop, chop, chop first. You have to do that if it's there. Remember that an equal sign sorry about that. An equals sign means hand method. But you got to kind of clean it up before the hand method kicks in. And the last thing just to keep in mind is that the lonely variable, a lonely variable, need a 1. Example, you have the variable x. This x needs the 1. Lonely variables need a 1. Okay, guys. So that is what we call multi-step equations. It does have a hand method embedded in there. Your job for tonight's homework is to just do page 20. Just do page 20, show your work, hand method. Have a fabulous night.